Okay, good morning, guys. Today's session will cover on Python functions. So, what are functions in Python? The functions are the fundamentals, generally the fundamentals of Python functions, which includes the syntaxes, the primary parts, written keywords, and the major types, and will be covered in this session. And then not only this, and the instances of the Python functions definitions will be covered. What is a function? A function is a collection of, it is a collection of, it is a collection of related assertions. Collection of assertions. A function is nothing but it's a collection of assertions which performs mathematical, analytical, and evaluated operations. Okay. So what is a function? A function is nothing but a function is a collection of related assertions that performs a mathematical or analytical or evaluation operations. So what is a collection of statements? A collection of statements are called as the function that returns a particular task. So a collection of statements. So what is a collection of statements? A collection of statement is nothing but which returns a particular task. Python functions are simple to define. The Python functions are very simple to define and essential to intermediate the programming language. Next one, the name of the function can take any variable name. Name of the function, name of the function may vary. Okay. Okay. So it may vary. Name of the function may variable in term, in naming actually. Okay. So you can give any name. The global is to group up certain offer performed actions and define a function. We may call the function and reuse the code again and again. So that's the reason we use functions to use the code again and again, which means reusability. Reusability of the code. Okay. So this is the major. There are two types of functions. First one, user defined. Second one, built in. These are the two types of functions. First type is user defined function and second type is built-in functions. So user defined functions are the defined or declared by the user, but whereas the built-in functions are the functions which came up along with the Python package, which means those are already inbuilt, those are already developed. Okay. So what are the main advantages of these functions? So by including functions into the program, we can prevent repeating the code for again and again. As I told you, the first advantage of using functions in our scripting is reusability of the code. What is the second advantage of using functions? So Python functions once defined can be called many times and from anywhere in a program. So you can call the same program, you can call the same function again. Okay, once it is defined. Let's say if our Python program is large, it can be separated into numerous functions, which is simple to track. You can segregate, you can divide your whole the bunch of code into several parts by using functions. so that it is easy to track. And then not only this, the accomplishment of Python function is we can return as many outputs as we want with the different arguments. Okay, so what is the last advantage? The last advantage of using functions in Python is that the functions in Python we can return as many as output as we want with the different arguments. Okay, let me give you the simple syntax of the Python function. How does a Python function looks like? Okay, we'll use the def keyword. Def keyword is used to create a function. Next, we'll give here function name. Next, the code. That's it, guys. This is the basic syntax of the function. So, example. Let me give you one example. This is the syntax, and now we'll look into one example. Def is the standard keyword. Name of the function, any. And now, in my case, I'm giving name of the function as dummy. Okay. Next, indentation. It has taken. Let's say a is equals to 10, b is equals to 20, c is equals to a plus b. Next, print c. Once it is done, see, once it is done, the execution will be execution will have no issues. The whole thing, this whole thing is called as the code, and this body of the code. Okay, sorry, body of the function. This whole code is known as the body of the function. What is the name of the function? It's dummy, and it will the function has to be should be defined with def keyword. It should starts with def keyword, and it should end with colon and open close parenthesis. I forgot that. Sorry, guys. So it should have. So here it should have parameters or arguments. You can go with parameters or argument. Here we are not passing any kind of arguments. This is optional, guys. Parameters are the optional, but open and close parenthesis is mandatory. Okay, so once it is done, we'll go for the calling the function. How do we call the function? Just name of the function, dummy. That's it. If you execute this program, the output will be displayed on the console. So for this, let me show you how this works. Any doubts, guys, as of now? As I told you, def is the keyword which is used for defining the function. We'll take dummy one, open close parenthesis, and colon. It is mandatory. Open and close parenthesis and colon and def keyword are mandatory. Are we clear, Raju and Pushpa? Okay. Now, okay, C is equals to A plus B. Now print C, and before that I'm gonna give value of C. So if I run, the output has to show, right? But it's not showing nothing. It's showing nothing because we haven't returned anything. For this, you have to call the function. How do we call the function? Just just come out of the loop. Just give the name of the function. That's it. If you run this now, value of C is 30. Okay. Any doubts? So the basically the beginning of a function header, the beginning of the function header is indicated by a keyword def. It is mandatory. Okay. And function name is the dummy one. That can we can use we can use to separate it from the others. Like from here we have a space. We'll use this name to call the function later. Here we'll use this dummy one to call the function. See here we have this is calling function calling. So if you call the function, then only it will get execute. Function calling, uh, defining a function. This is body of the function. Okay. Okay. Are we clear? Next one. Not only this, we pass arguments here. As of now, we have no arguments here. Here and here, we have no arguments. So that's the reason we are not passing anything. Let's see. We'll modify this program. Let's say we'll take the same program and again we'll go with see here. As I told you, def is the keyword, and here I'm going with the dummy 2, and here I'm passing values a comma b. Two values I'm passing. Okay, and ends with colon. Okay, now c is equals to a plus b. That's it. Now I'm gonna give print c. Okay, what it says. Okay. Once it is done, as I told you, come out of the loop. Then you need to call the function. What is the name of the function? Dummy2 is the name of the function. What is the first argument? I'll give 10, then I'll give 20. Okay, let me run this. So, see here, is it showing the output? This is called passing arguments. I'll tell you this also. Okay, so these are user defined functions. Are we clear as of now? Next, we have discussed even uh, calling a function is done. Then we'll go with pass by reference, pass by value. Okay, there are two things to make a note of in functions: pass by value and pass by reference. So this is passing arguments. How we pass arguments? Where the arguments comes up in between parentheses. See here, you can see here. Here A and B are the arguments, or you can say parameters. Here I have initialized, declared the two variables. Here I have initialized. I have assigned 10 to A, 20 to B. Okay, that's how I have passed the values. Now here we'll discuss pass by value and pass by reference. These are two types of things where we can pass our parameters, our arguments. All the arguments in the Python programming languages are provided by reference itself. Okay, it indicates that if we alter the value of an argument inside of a function, the calling function will likewise reflect the change. So if you change the value of the argument inside of the function, it will reflect on the function itself. See, if I change the argument, see here, if I change the value, let's say I'm going with 1, I have changed the value, it should reflect on the program Python function. So which means now a value should be 1 now. See here 21. 1 plus 20, 21. If you change the value of an argument, it should reflect on the function. Next, mm, for this, this is the best example for pass by value and pass by reference. Okay, this is example, which means if you change the value in the argument, that should reflect on the function's value, function's variable value, that is pass by value. Next, we'll go with uh, pass by reference. Before going into pass by reference, we should have we should discuss the arguments. What are the function arguments? What are the function arguments? The function arguments are four types. First one, default arguments. Second one, keyword arguments. The third one, required arguments. And the fourth one is variable length arguments. Okay. So here, these are the four types of function arguments. Where do we use these function arguments? Here, these function arguments, these are the things which we are discussing now. We are discussing only about the arguments. These are the arguments a and b. Here in this function, here a and b are the arguments. How do we declare, how do we call, how do we retrieve those, how do we declare those function arguments? We'll see now. What is a default argument? What is a default argument? A default argument is a kind of argument. First one, a default argument, which means by default, a default argument is a kind of parameter or an argument that takes a input, a default value, if no value is supplied for the argument when the function is called. I'll tell you what is it. So here, when the function is declared, when the function is called, here we are calling the function. While calling the function, if no value is passed to the argument as the parameter, if you are not passing any parameters, then this function will take default value, that is no values. Though no values is supplied, it will takes the default input values. Okay, are we clear? So we are not giving any kind of values here, right? Which means this is the example for default argument. We are not giving any values. Second one, default is done. Next, keyword arguments. Guys, whenever you got any doubts, just do let me know. Okay. Next, keyword arguments. What are the keyword arguments? Keywords are arguments are nothing but uh, let's say a function is called the arguments are linked to the keyword arguments. When invoking a function, then keyword arguments, the user may tell whose parameters value it is by looking at the parameter label. We can remove the certain arguments or arrange them in a different order, since the uh, Python interpreter will connect to the provided keywords to link the certain values with its parameters. Another way is to use keywords to invoke the function methods is I'll tell you with an example for this. And before that, what is a keyword argument? A function is called arguments are linked to the keyword arguments. So this is the example for keyword arguments. So we are using keywords. Here we are using keywords. A is the keyword, B is the keyword. That's the best example for this. Okay. So here, if you, here session. Okay. Here just these are the default arguments, and this is example for keyword arguments. So let me rerun this. So it says if I change the value, I'm changing it to 11, which means the resultant should be 31. See, you get the 31. So here we are passing 2. Let's say I want to pass 3, comma x. I want to pass x. And if I do not see here, minus 1, sorry, minus x. Let's say after adding, the value of x should be subtracted. Run this. So it says what it says, it is missing one argument, positional argument x. So here we have passed 3 arguments, but here we have initialized only 2 arguments. If you should give 3 arguments, then only it will get executed. Let's say I'll give some 10, 10 for x. So now let's see, if there are the positional arguments, the number of arguments should be same. See, it says what is the value of a plus b? 31. 31 minus 10, 21. Simple. Let's say I'll remove, I'll just update the value, which means I'm changing the value of the argument. So it should reflect on the x, and it should, the value should be 30 now. See, 11 plus 20, a plus b is 11 plus 20, that is 31. 31 minus 1, it is 30. Right? So if you change the values, then automatically it should reflect on the function. So that's an example for keyword arguments, which means it will have keywords as an argument. Next one, required arguments. What is the third one? Required arguments. The third one is required argument. What are these required arguments? So in general, the arguments given to a function while calling in a predefined positional sequence are required arguments, which means the mandatory thing. The count of the required arguments in the method or a function call must be equal to the count of arguments provided while defining the function, which means while defining the function, this is defining the function, and this is calling the function, right? Here we are calling the function, here we are defining the function. At the time of defining the function, the positional arguments, and when you are calling the function, the number of arguments count should be equal. That's called as required arguments. You must send, see, if I send, if I am declaring here uh, defining 2 arguments, but here I am trying to uh, call 3 arguments. Here I have defined 2 arguments, but here I am trying to assign another value to another variable. So that is another argument parameter, but it wasn't there, so it won't get executed. So you must give the value, or you can go with y here. So let's say now I have given y, but it says there is no x value defined because we have given y as the parameter. See, it says 30. So are we clear now? So number of arguments should be equal. Okay. And the fourth one. Any doubts, Pushpa and Raju? Okay. And the last one is variable length arguments. What are these variable length arguments? So we can use special characters in Python functions to pass as many as arguments we want to a function. So why do we use variable length arguments? We can use special characters in Python functions to pass as many as arguments we want in function. But there are 2 types of characters that we can use for this special purpose. There are 2 types of characters. First one, in variable length argument, we have 2 types. First one, args, args, okay, Next one, kwargs. So what are this? So here, first one, args. These are non-keyword arguments. For non-keyword arguments, these are non-keyword. These are non-keyword arguments. Whereas these are kw is nothing but keyword. Okay, these are keyword arguments. And the first one is non-keyword. Second one will be keyword arguments. And these keyword arguments are very similar to this one, guys. The second one. This second one is very similar to our second function type, function argument type. Okay. And the first one is non-keyword. First one is non-keyword. Second one is keyword argument. I'll give you one example so that it will give you much in detail. So first one. First, we'll discuss about the variable length arguments by using both. In a single example, I'll give you description about these two. Okay, let me fetch session. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, here I'll give you one example for keyword and non-keyword arguments. Okay, first one. First, we need a function. How do we define a function? Using what? Def keyword, right? And the name of the function. Anything. In this case, I am taking fun1 as my function name. So here colon and enter. So here I'm gonna give keyword non-keyword arguments star args. That's it. Let me give it any one list, any name. Okay, I'm taking star args under list underscore list. This is the arguments. These are the arguments which I am passing to my function fun1. Okay, next I'll have one empty list. Okay, uh, to store the normal initial values, I'll have one. Let me create one dummy list. For this, I'll go with list underscore empty. Okay, anything. You can take any name, guys. Okay, I'm taking just one empty list. Okay, next for I in args args list. This is the argument list. Whatever the values you'll give, it will take from it. For should have a colon. Okay. Next, I need to append the values to this. So after taking the values from here, I have to store it in empty list. For this, append, right? What append? List to which dot append. What should be append? So whatever I give, that should be let's say I'm giving hello. That should be converted to upper. For this, you have to take I dot I dot upper I dot upper method. So which means whatever the characters you give, that will be upper letters, converted into upper letters. Now I have to return. I'll give you what is. I'll tell you what is written. Okay, that list. Simple. Okay, this is a simple function which will demonstrate you about the non-keyword documents with by uh, just it will takes the value and it will just uh, converts the lower level characters into upper level character. Now we are we have to pass the values to these arguments, right? It's just a defining a function. Now we need to call the function. So for this I have to create one object. I'll create one dummy object. Let's say obj is going to my object. What is the name of the function? Fun1 is the name of the function. And what are the values you want to pass? Here I'm not giving any number, just I'm giving the values randomly. Let's say first I'll go with hello. Next I'll give one more argument. That's my wish. I can give n number of arguments here because I haven't declared the number, the count here. I haven't declared. Here I can give anything, n number of arguments. Here I'll go with anything. Okay, n number of arguments. So these are the arguments. How many arguments? One, two, three, four. Four arguments I have given. Did I mention here any number to the count of the argument? No, I haven't. That's the reason it is called as variable length, which means the length may vary. It depends upon the user. So after this, what I need to do? I want to print this object so that on the console. That's it. So which means whatever you. So see guys, so I have given hello, hi, Raju and Pushpa. It will convert it into, it will take first hello from here. This hello, it will take from here the first argument, that is I. What is the zeroth index consisting? The zeroth index is consisting hello. It will take hello, will be stored in I. It will then from where? From this list. What is that list? This is the list. So it will take from this list and it will append to this list underscore empty. Before that, before appending, it will converts the characters into lower level case into uppercase, then it will be appended into this list. That's the first one. Next again it will takes the second value. Same, from this it will take the second value. Before appending, it will just converts lower to upper, then it will append to this empty list, which means two elements are stored as of now. It will take the third element and it will be stored in I. Then it will uh, before appending, it will just performs the conversion from lowercase to uppercase. Then that will be appended to list dot underscore empty, list underscore empty, that is here the third element. Then it will take the fourth element, and fourth element will be stored in I. That will be taken from this list, args list. Then before appending, it will convert its conversion will be done from lowercase to uppercase. Then it will be appended to this empty list. That is the last element, and the values will be returned to this list underscore empty. This is the workflow. After once it is done, the values will be stored in obj object. That obj object has to get printed. This is the obj object, the resultant list. Any doubts? That's the reason guys, here we have seen, here we haven't given number of arguments unlike previous examples. So here we have given three arguments, so declared three arguments. So we have to initialize the three arguments. We have declared defined three arguments, so we have to pass the three values. But here we haven't declared the count of the parameters, that is arguments. We haven't given any number to the here. There are four arguments, we haven't. But even if you want to add one more, you can add. See here, if you want, you can add. So no need to modify here. See here, are you getting guys? Are you getting any doubts till now? Raju and Pushpa? Yeah, do you have any doubt? Obj, right? And I'll tell you what is an object. Object is used to store the, it is a temporary container. If you want to perform any kind of operations, you need some memory in uh, in RAM. So Python memory management, what it will do, it will assign a small amount of memory to this program. How do we ask the Python memory management to assign some memory by using object obj? Any that can be any name. Instead of obj, you can go with some ccc, anything, whatever you want, anything. Okay, name of the object. See here, same thing. Which means to store this list, you have you defined or initialized any values in your script? These values, no, right? But you need some space, you need some temporary location to store these values, right? You have taken only empty list, right? But to store these values in your mm, uh, memory, you need some temporary location. The temporary location is triple C, or you can go with just C, or you can go with ab, anything. Temp, even you can go with temporary location. Okay, so right, for which one you have taken one temporary object to store these values, but for which, what is the reference? My reference is my function name of the function is, for this function I want to take. Let's say you have 3 or 4 functions in your program. Then if you are not declaring, if you are not giving anything, if you are taking like this, it won't accept, because it must know to which function you are trying to take the temporary object, so that it will take the arguments and it will store temporarily. Then it will perform the operation that will be returned to the console. Then this object will be destroyed automatically. The memory will be uh, uh, memory will be which is allocated, that will be deallocated again. Okay, okay, next one. These are the args list. Next we'll go with second one. What is that second one? Keyword arguments. For this also we'll take one function. We'll define one function def. We'll go with fun2, as I told you, double star kw arguments, kw args, simple. So again I'll take one empty list, list empty 2, second list. I'll take another list. Okay, so here I'm taking another empty list to store my result. So this result will be stored, guys, this result will be stored here. Okay, next, once it is done, I'll go with next. Here for, I'll take value loop. Let's go with some dictionary, guys. We'll go with some dictionary if you want. Okay, the for dictionary we should have key and values. You know this, key and value is the combination. Okay, key and value format in kwargs list. What is that kwargs list? Kwargs. So we have taken any kind of list. Okay, kwargs list colon, but these are key and values, right? It should be consisting items. So because dictionary will have, see, this is the small difference, guys. While you are working with dictionaries, it should have key and value, and those key and values will be stored in items, will be retrieved through items. Okay, next, uh, after this I have to append what key and value. Okay, for this you'll go with key and value. That's good. As of now we are looking good. So next, after once it is done, I must return my, return what, return my list, right? What is that list? This one. I must return that. Okay, now just we have defined the function. Now we need to call the function. To call the function we need one temporary object. Temp, I'll go with temp2. What is the name of the function? fun2, and here you need to pass the values. Okay, before that you should go with uh, key and value, right? Yeah. Key, sorry, key, what is the value? I'll go with any value. Okay, this is my first thing, first value, key and value. What is the key? First is the key, Pushpa is the value. Second, Raju is the second value. Next, third one, third, I'll go with Hussein. So these are the three values I'm giving, three key and values, which are three elements in my dictionary. What is the first element? This is the first element. The second element, which is a combination of both key and value. First is the key, Pushpa is the value. Now see, now I want to print my object. What is that object? Temporary 2. So let me run this. See, you forget about this because this is the output of the first program. The second, see here, the first one, first Pushpa, second Raju, third Hussein. So this is got printed. So here our main objective of our program uh, is to conclude that we can give n number of arguments. We can give n number of variable length arguments to our argument list, to our KW keyword. It should be a keyword. These are the first, second, third, fourth, Pushpa, Raju, Hussein are the keywords, right? That's the reason these are called as keyword arguments. Okay. Are we clear? Any doubts as of now? Raju and Pushpa? Okay. Next, we have used so many times this return keyword, right? What is this return keyword? This return, we'll discuss about return keyword. What is that return? We write a return statement in a function to leave a function and give the calculated value when a defined function is called. Okay, we write a return statement in a function to leave a function and give the calculated value to it, and when it is defined. So syntax, you know this, we already went through this. So for namesake, I'm giving you the syntax. To return the value, to return the value, to return the value, we use return keyword, and the syntax will be, the syntax is return keyword, same, return keyword, then we'll have here expression. Okay, that's it. This is the syntax. Example, we are I'll give you one simple example. Okay, very very simple example. mm, Actually we have discussed this already. This is the best example, guys. This is more than enough. This is the example for this. This is the example. You will have the function, and the return value will be stored in this list, and you will call this list. That's it. Okay. And that's all for the today, guys.